What happens when YouTube's biggest star, the face of generosity and epic stunts, starts looking a lot less like a benevolent philanthropist and a lot more like a corporate villain? We're diving deep into the swirling controversies that are changing how we see Mr. Beast, Jimmy Donaldson, and honestly, it's making me wonder if the era of the good guy mega creator is officially over. This isn't just about a bad tweet or a momentary lapse. We're talking about fundamental shifts in his empire that are raising some serious red flags. Let's kick things off with something that's always been a cornerstone of Mr. Beast's brand: his extreme challenges and massive giveaways. For years, we've watched in awe as he gives away cars, houses, and millions of dollars, often after putting contestants through increasingly wild scenarios. But lately, there's a growing sentiment, and frankly I agree with it, that these stunts have crossed a line from entertaining to ethically questionable. I mean, remember that rumored fire trap challenge, or the one where people were asked if they'd risk serious injury for $500,000? Yes, his team will tell you they use professional stunt performers and have extensive safety crews on set, EMTs, firefighters, the whole 9 yards. And I don't doubt their professional precautions, but that's not the point, is it? The real issue here for me is the optics and the message it sends. When a multimillionaire, someone who could never truly understand financial desperation, creates content around pushing less fortunate individuals to their absolute limits for a chance at life-changing money, it starts to feel less like generosity and more like exploitation for views. It's like watching a modern-day gladiatorial contest where the prize is substantial, but the underlying premise feels almost sadistic. Think about the psychological impact. You have people, many of whom are genuinely struggling, being put through these physically and mentally demanding tests, all for the entertainment of millions. Is the enormous prize money truly an act of charity? Or is it a calculated expense designed to generate a 20-minute viral video that ultimately earns the Mr. Beast brand exponentially more in ad revenue and brand deals? When the core business model relies on showcasing people's vulnerability, that fundamentally changes the moral calculus. And then there's the question of influence. We're talking about the most subscribed YouTuber in the world. His primary demographic is young, impressionable, and still forming their view of the world. How does it shape their understanding of risk, reward, and human dignity when the pursuit of wealth becomes such a literal, high-stakes game? Does it normalize the idea that extreme risk and personal humiliation are acceptable or even necessary steps toward financial success? I honestly believe that his content, despite its production quality, is subtly contributing to a culture where desperation is entertainment, and spectacle always triumphs over genuine connection. It makes me wonder, are we celebrating generosity, or are we celebrating a spectacle that dances dangerously close to mocking human desperation? This shift from genuine fun to almost forced, high-pressure content is where I personally start to disconnect from the Mr. Beast narrative. Moving on, let's talk about something that's not just ethically grey, but potentially legally troubling and a serious breach of platform rules. Mr. Beast's relationship with raffles, gambling like mechanics, and how that intersects with YouTube's terms of service, especially concerning minors. This is a critical area because it directly impacts the platform's policies designed to protect its users, particularly the younger demographic that makes up a significant portion of Mr. Beast's audience. For context, YouTube has strict policies against content that promotes or facilitates the sale of regulated goods or services, and that absolutely includes gambling. They don't want creators encouraging activities that are illegal for minors or could lead to addiction. Now, let's look at the mechanics of his giveaways. When Mr. Beast does things like massive giveaways, where you enter to win by, say, buying a Feastables bar, or engaging in challenges that feel a lot like betting or games of chance, he's treading a very fine line. While technically these might be structured as sweepstakes, to avoid the legal definition of gambling in some jurisdictions, because a purchase isn't technically required to enter, the perception and the mechanics often mirror it. The issue isn't what the fine print says, it's what the video promotes. The central theme of many of his videos is high-stakes chance, and the primary call to action for many of his real-world giveaways is to participate by purchasing a product like a candy bar. To a child, that is indistinguishable from a raffle ticket. They see the product as the key to the chance at a life-changing prize. This creates a direct commercial and psychological link between the purchase and the excitement of winning. My personal take is that when you have an audience so heavily comprised of children and teenagers, even if you legally in the clear by calling it a sweepstakes instead of a raffle or lottery, the spirit of the law and the intent of YouTube's policies are being violated. YouTube's rules are meant to be a shield for children, preventing them from being exposed to the addictive nature of chance-based contests. By utilizing these quasi-gambling mechanics to drive sales and channel engagement, MrBeast is, in effect, teaching millions of minors to conflate product consumption with the excitement of an enormous financial payoff. They see these massive prizes, they see the excitement, and they're encouraged to participate in ways that normalize games of chance as a path to wealth. This isn't just bad optics. It's a massive systematic sidestepping of the rules that other, smaller creators would be instantly penalized for. It feels like a workaround, a way to leverage the hype of gambling-adjacent mechanics without technically breaking the letter of every single law, but it definitely feels like it's breaking the spirit of YouTube, says commitment to safety and responsible content. And honestly, for a creator of his magnitude, who is seen as such a role model by millions of kids, it feels like a profound betrayal of trust and an irresponsible use of his influence. It leaves me wondering if the pursuit of engagement and virality is now overshadowing the responsibility to protect his audience, and what action, if any, YouTube will eventually take against their biggest star. Okay, now that you've done the thing and hit that subscribe button, let's keep this deep dive rolling. We've talked about the ethical cost of extreme stunts, the troubling use of raffle mechanics, and the legal mess left behind by beast games. If those were the growing pains of a massive content machine, the next major controversy is the new existential threat, something that puts MrBeast in a uniquely contradictory spotlight: his stance and his struggles with the rise of AI content and deepfakes. Jimmy Donaldson has become one of the loudest voices warning about AI destroying the creator economy, calling the current times scary, and honestly, I agree with him on the threat level. When AI video generators, like the newer versions of Sora, can create fully formed, realistic videos from a text prompt in seconds, and when those videos become virtually indistinguishable from human-made content, what happens to the millions of creators who rely on their unique face, personality, and hustle to make a living? If the market gets flooded with unlimited cheap AI-generated content, and revenue gets diluted, algorithms get clogged, and human creators could simply get drowned out. It's a terrifying prospect for anyone in this business, and it's right for him to raise the alarm. But here is where the controversy lands squarely back on MrBeast himself. His actions often contradict his warnings, making him look less like a concerned advocate and more like a hypocrite. He has publicly experimented with AI tools to help generate content for his brands. Remember the uproar when he launched an AI thumbnail generator through his analytics platform, ViewStats. The goal was smart: help creators optimize their packaging instantly. The reality was a massive backlash. Artists and designers were furious, rightly pointing out that generative AI is often trained on their copyrighted, uncompensated work, effectively stealing their income stream, while he promotes a tool to replace them. He had to pull the feature down, apologize, and publicly pivot to recommending human designers instead. That tells me two things. First, that he is constantly looking for any edge, even if it disrupts the lives of smaller creators. And second, that he only backs down when the public pressure becomes too loud for the brand to ignore. And if that wasn't enough of a complication, the one thing that truly threatens the authenticity of any celebrity-driven content is the deepfake. MrBeast, more than almost anyone else, has been the face of these sophisticated AI-driven scams. I'm talking about the viral deepfake ads on platforms like TikTok and Instagram that use an eerily realistic AI-generated version of Jimmy, complete with his voice and logos, to promote obvious scams like get a brand new iPhone for just $2. These aren't just amateur videos. They are convincing enough to trick thousands of his own fans, stealing their money and personal data, all while using his image to lend credibility to the fraud. The issue isn't just the scam itself, it's what it does to the very foundation of his brand. His entire appeal is built on authenticity. We watch because we believe the stunts are real and the generosity is genuine. When his own likeness can be weaponized so easily, when viewers have to constantly question, is this the real MrBeast or a deepfake trying to steal my money? That doubt poisons the well for everyone. It degrades the very trust that the creator economy is built upon. And that trust is his most valuable, unquantifiable asset. He is stuck in a terrible position. He is simultaneously the poster child for AI innovation and the biggest victim of AI exploitation. It makes you wonder how long the most genuine-seeming guy on the internet can maintain that image when the technology that makes his career possible is also making it impossible to tell what is real and what is a high-tech lie. It's a paradox that he has yet to solve, and it's a problem that will define the rest of his career. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. The problem with the extreme stunts and the questionable raffles is just one layer of the massive corporation Jimmy Donaldson has built. It's what happens when a YouTube algorithm genius has to become a corporate CEO overnight. And that brings us to what I personally see as the most damning controversy against the MrBeast empire. Right now, the massive legal and ethical fallout from his Amazon Prime reality series, Beast Games. This show was supposed to be the ultimate flex, the grand achievement, the largest reality competition ever, with 2,000 contestants and a massive $5 million prize. But instead of a triumphant success story, what we got was a catastrophic logistical failure wrapped in a class action lawsuit. It makes me question whether the drive for scale has completely blinded the company to basic human decency. The allegations here aren't about poor video editing or low production value. They're about mistreatment and negligence on a massive scale. Multiple contestants filed a lawsuit alleging absolutely shocking conditions. We're talking about unsafe working conditions, inadequate food and medical care, and even claims of sexual harassment against the production staff. Think about that for a second. The most powerful, most popular content creator in the world, whose entire brand is built on giving back and being a good guy, is now being sued because people who showed up to compete for his prize money felt like they were being exploited and endangered. I've seen reports that contestants were sleeping on turf, given inadequate food during extremely long filming hours, and that getting basic medications or medical attention was a nightmare due to chaos and disorganization. The lawsuit even details allegations that people were injured, some seriously, and that production staff allegedly pushed contestants to keep moving, even when others were falling or getting tangled in ropes. The hypocrisy is just overwhelming. You can have your entire public persona be about being benevolent and then run a corporate operation that allegedly treats its participants with such blatant disregard for their well-being. This wasn't some small indie project. This was a multi-million-dollar venture with Amazon, backed by a massive corporate entity, and they couldn't even manage to feed people properly or ensure basic safety. But it gets deeper and frankly more sinister from a corporate perspective. The lawsuit also alleges that the production companies running Beast Games misclassified the contestants as volunteers rather than employees. If that's true, it's not just a logistical mistake, it's an intentional legal maneuver allegedly done to avoid paying wages and to qualify for millions of dollars in Nevada tax credits. This is where the story shifts from naive creator who hired bad staff to ruthless CEO, prioritizing profit and tax loopholes over people. It reveals a calculated corporate mechanism at the heart of the MrBeast operation that fundamentally contradicts the wholesome, fun-loving image he projects. And how did MrBeast and his company, MrB 2024 LLC, respond? Primarily by denying the most serious allegations, commissioning an internal investigation, the findings of which were, of course, favorable to them, and deflecting. They blamed the problems on things like extreme weather and IT outages. Honestly, that excuse is infuriating. When you're managing 2,000 human beings, a logistical failure of that scale isn't an IT outage. It's a massive failure of planning, management, and ethical oversight. The fact that the defense relies on painting these contestants, many of whom are desperate people, as disgruntled liars rather than acknowledging a catastrophic failure of their operation, really tells you everything you need to know about the cold, hard corporate reality underneath the giant Squid Game sets. It's a clear signal that the corporate machine is willing to sacrifice accountability and trust in the name of spectacle and scale. And that, for me, is the true downfall of the MrBeast brand. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe.